Hey there, nice to see you. Welcome to the Bronx Buzz. This is Bronx Net's program where we usually talk to editors and writers and journalists and others, but also performers and artists. And as we try to define it, people who put something out in the Bronx. And this evening, we're going to do kind of a little bit of a holiday show. We've got two wonderful segments with people who are doing wonderful things in our borough, the Bronx. So let's get started and say good evening to the founder of Kingsbridge Unidos, and it is Jessica Altagracia Woolford. Nice to have you with us. Thanks for joining us. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
You're set appropriately where you need to be for the holidays. And M. Hirsch, who is a community member, a bike mechanic, and now I'm giving part of it away. She works at the Broadway Bicycle School, a worker-owned cooperative in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Em, nice to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Jessica, this is a very, very fascinating and interesting project. You literally opened up a Christmas present of all these bicycles. So why don't you rewind this story, tell us what it's about, and then we'll bring Em into the dialogue and explain what this is exciting. Go ahead.
It is exciting. I'm super excited. I'm glad you're excited, Gary. Just a few months ago, a good friend of mine, literally from my Head Start days, preschool friend, Haram, hit me up and was like, his dad and him have a construction company, and they were gutting a former bike repair shop in Spanish Harlem. And he sent me a picture of a bunch of bikes, an endless sea of bikes in a basement, and asked a simple but kind of complicated question: do you think we could give these bikes away to kids in our community?
Wow.
And I was like, I don't know, but I bet we can find some people who could help us figure that out. And over the course of 72 hours after that first text, we pulled together a dozen volunteers who came from all across New York, cyclists, organizers, people who were just like, let's help, let's figure this out together. So we stored up as many bikes as we could. We rescued about 75 bikes, put them into some storage units, in addition to an entire storage unit full of bike parts, tires, helmets, all kinds of stuff. And so what we're doing,
I gotta tell you, this is a holiday story. I mean, let's be real. This is a great holiday story. So just to recap, you got 75 bicycles, and then you wanted to figure out how to distribute them. Are they children's bicycles or some adults, or where is it?
Some adults. This is definitely a classic Bronx holiday story, I have to say, because here we are just like making something out of all of these bits and pieces and using our imagination to, really push and be like, what can we do? So we've got mostly kids' bikes, and we're in the midst of repairing those bikes to give them away to kids on Three Kings Day, which will be a nice end to the holiday season, some bright light, for kids to receive these restored bikes.
It's just unbelievable. So as I understand, just moving it ahead, you've got some because you need place, number one, to have the bikes.
Yes.
I mean, I'm assuming your apartment's not quite big enough.
No.
And I don't even know if you live in an apartment, but I'm just saying. Also, you need a place to work on the bikes. You can't be doing it out in the street now, especially it's a little cold and rainy some days. So then what did you do at that point? And then Emma's coming into the dialogue, uno momento.
Yes. I'm so excited to talk to Emma about this. But, I reached out to everyone I could in our mutual aid network, different organizations, nonprofits. It was about 2 months of just,
Wow.
reaching out, of trying to find the right space. And then I called Senator Gustavo Rivera, who will be our state senator in just a few days, I guess. Right, yeah. And he thought creatively with me and was like, you know what, I think we can figure this out. And a few days later, we ended up with the keys to a massive 10,000 square foot space in Marble Hill, across the street, Gary, from where Haram and I first met in preschool. And so for me, again, this is such a holiday, but like Bronx holiday story. Wow. And M, has been doing incredible work with us.
The space is on 225th and Broadway, as I understand.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
So I was trying to figure out where it is. Is it on Broadway? Because that whole ring of
next
stores,
to Seatown.
Next to Seatown. I know exactly where it is. Okay. Yeah. And so then you got invited in. You somehow happened in.
Yeah, exactly. I similarly got a phone call maybe a week after the bikes had been found. I'm from Inwood and have lived in New York for most of my life, but recently did move to work as a bike mechanic somewhere else. But I was involved in mutual aid work. And so one of my friends from that reached out and was like, we found 75 bikes. We can't tell like how, what the condition is of them, but we know we want to like build them. We want to give them away to the community, and we want to make a big education sort of program out of it. And so I've been back in town visiting family since the bicycle season has slowed down up here. And so I was able to, over the past month, partner with about 6 or 7 other community members who either have mechanical experience or have learned through the project. And so we've been spending time in the space, really making the bikes safe, as well as bringing them back to life, cleaning them off, trying to make them a little shinier than they were before.
And is this like I don't know how to describe it, like an easy thing to do, or does it happen a lot? Like is this a unique moment in time?
I mean, yeah, it's been pretty amazing. It has not been easy. Like so we got, we first starting with the kids' bike, which are about 40 of them. And to be quite honest, they were in pretty rough shape. I think they'd been in a basement for a long time gathering rust. And so we started just day one, like going through each and seeing what does each need and sort of assessing it. We've probably spent like 3 hours on each individual bike and are approaching about 20 bikes now, hoping to get up to 30 at least to give away in the coming weeks.
So these bicycles will then be given to whom? I guess we're back to Jessica to ask her that question. And
yes. So we've been inviting different community groups to come visit the space to think through what this could be, right? Because we see this as an opportunity to make the case that we need more of this. We need more opportunities for kids to get on bikes, for teens to learn about how to repair bikes, but also, just a place to gather, to share ideas, and to have a good time, to have some joy in the community. So
do you expect to have that space in perpetuity? I mean, as I understand, there could be, it's a store, it's commercial property. Somebody's going to want to put something in there.
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe a bike shop and hire all the young people here.
A bike shop would be great. We're just 2 blocks away from Sid's old bike shop, that used to be right on the, right. I'm sure you remember. Where I got my first bike.
I don't know if I got my first bike, but I was in there for parts many times. For
yes,
little horns and gloves and accessories and things.
A lot of us are. Well, I definitely would be remiss not to use this opportunity here to say, like, if there are folks who work with youth, particularly around here in the North Bronx, like, we'd love to hear from you. We're reaching out to community centers, different groups that we serve in our mutual aid network, and connecting the dots on how we can get some bikes into kids' hands, but also how we can keep in touch with community members to continue growing this project.
I'm just going to assume this is a job of passion for you. Like if you do what you do and you believe in it as a good thing to do, here's an opportunity to spread the love, so to speak. Just talk about the condition of the bikes and how difficult was it to get them going? Do they need a lot? And then of course, presumably you're going to need some parts and things like this, some chains, or I don't know what.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I will say the bikes have been really great, both as good bikes for kids to get, but also good bikes for mechanics to learn on. Most of them are single speeds. So we, definitely have had a lot of very rusty chains, a lot of tires and tubes that are completely flat. And so we've partnered with some of our friends who work at bike shops in New York to try and get reduced price parts that we've been able to source. But definitely there's been a lot of de-rusting of the bikes and a lot of spraying down and cleaning.
De-rusting, that seems like a difficult task. You've got to you got to spray or do something like that.
Yeah.
Jessica, I got to tell you, this sounds like a business ready to happen, because whoever starts the business already has 75 customers who know who they are. And I know what your passion is and other things that we've talked about. Seems to me if you could find a space or that space, let young people start a business. You have people like Em and others who are going to teach people how to do it. You know what I mean? You're building a community which is much larger than just handing away a bicycle.
That's what we hope for, and this could be a worker-owned co-op, right? We could do that here.
This is where I'm going. So we're almost out of time, but just talk a little bit about how kids can get and families can get the bicycles, and that's going to be Three Kings Day, right? Is that what we're doing?
That's right. So we're going to start advertising this over the next few days, but on Three Kings Day, which is Friday, January 6th, 2023, after school, we're going to be giving away the bikes at 5237 Broadway. We have a limit.
Let's just write that down.
Yeah,
5237 Broadway.
5237 Broadway, next to Seatown, the old Broadway Discounts #2 that a lot of people are familiar with. Mm-hmm. And we do have a limited number of bikes, right? Just to be clear and to like set some expectations with folks. But this isn't going to be the first and only project that we work on in the community. I mean, from the conversations we've been having with a bunch of volunteers, people want to keep doing this work because it's fulfilling. It helps us make the case that we need better bike infrastructure, also safer streets for our kids to be able to learn to ride bikes.
And I think you can expand the universe for it. I mean, there's transportation alternatives. There are groups all over the city. For you, does it expand your knowledge base? Has this provided something for you that you hadn't anticipated?
Yeah, I have never been able to teach people before. I've always been a student of bike mechanics, and I am, only a year into working in it professionally. And so it's been really cool to be able to realize through teaching how much you can learn. And then I've even called on people I've taught over a couple of weeks to now continue teaching others.
And of course, again, I use the term, you're spreading the love of what you love and what you believe in. And of course, we haven't even talked about the social implications and ways to get around and move around the neighborhood and all that. That's listen, Jessica, for people who want to get in touch with you, and be part of it, to volunteer, to give a bike, to get a bike. I mean, to be part of it. How do they get to you?
So you have a few options. The first one is you can email bronxbikecollective@gmail.com, and we'll make sure to give that to you all. So you can share that. You can DM me on Twitter. I'm Jess Woolford BX, or on Instagram. You can reach out to myself at jessica.altagracia. I check all of these messages, and this is really grassroots. Reach out to us. Great. There are different ways for folks to get involved and help. So
the history of this borough this is how good stuff starts, and this has all the makings of it. I'm rooting for you. BronxNet is rooting for you.
Thank you.
And we will be here every step of the way. Jessica Altagracia Woolford, thank you so much. And M. Hirsch, thank you. And what do we say? Happy holidays, but ride on.
That's
Josephine, right on.
That's right.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, you're going to love the video. It's an unusual holiday video that you're going to love, and we'll do that in a moment. Don't go away.